Hello and good morning, Centuric. Welcome to episode 56. Of course, today's topic is Central Now Explaining. I do have a couple things I want to talk about, but that will be at the end of the episode because this is very important. This is kind of something that we haven't seen for a while now. Kind of to just jump right in, back in November. Of course, I've done this already, but then the video had a problem. It was a nightmare because it was like encoding overload, which this might happen again. But I might just work through it at that point. Of course, it's smooth right now, but I don't know how. I think that's because I had a little too many programs open. I only had 4. It was like 2 Edges and Spotify. So, anyway, Central Now Explaining. Now, of course, back in November, they came out with their COVID tracker, or we started kind of looking at their COVID tracker, which kind of marked like, okay, this school has what cases and a bunch of other statistics. You'd think that when they come out with that, they kind of explain it a little bit more to the public because this is a new thing. No. Not at all. They waited. They just let people wonder. And of course, whenever we kind of looked at it, we would always think like, oh, what's going on? Well, yeah, they never said that. And nobody knows why. And then all of a sudden, everything got a little bit better. Little bit. Of course, today the middle school is closed because they say due to shorting or the staff not being able to be enough. Which at the time of this recording, they just updated their COVID tracker saying that 10 were quarantined, which is a lot. So yeah, but we'll talk about that when we kind of get there. So they waited about a semester, 2 marking periods, whatever you see it as, to come out and explain it because people had a lot of questions. One question that we always talked about was, well, what does year to date mean? Does it mean like from August to now, or does it mean from January 2020 to December 2020? Didn't make sense to me, but I think now we're kind of figuring out the answer that it's August to, but then sometimes the data doesn't line up. Like, a while back we were getting like 69 on our COVID tracker, and the school had like 100, which was a big gap, but I'm not sure. They might not actually be counting confirmed cases, or they might be trying to pull more kids out. I don't know. I honestly am kind of a deer in headlights at this point. But, of course, the district did come out. Of course, we don't have our COVID tracker updated, which will be updated soon, trust me. It's just a little bit hard. So, of course, now I got to pull up the channel update. Okay. So, of course, this is the website. It's on the website. You got to scroll down because one of these school board members did resign, and so they're trying to replace them. So, you got to scroll down to about where the free meals are. Yes, you can actually get free meals if you are a remote learner. You can actually go and pick up meals. I don't know if you have to pay for them or not, but I know you can go and pick them up. Of course, down in Southern New York County School District, you just drive up and they give you a bunch of food. So you don't even have to be in that. I don't know if you don't have to be a student to actually go. So I think it's free too. So the difference between small town districts and suburban city districts. I mean, come on, our York County, which is basically the suburb area that we think of, is a lot bigger. Like, it's like a whole city. Just a lot more spread out. So, of course, they say, we encourage you to review the information below for a better understanding of the numbers and what they mean. If you have any questions, email Julie Randall Romig, Director of Communications. As you know, she's the one who puts out all the emails like, oh, school's closed today for a snowstorm or blizzard or whatever, which hasn't happened this year because good old Zoom. So of course, kind of just dive into the questions now. The first question that they had was, what numbers are reported in the COVID tracker? Really, people? Really? Now, of course, I don't know if Central came up with this and like, well, people might not know what the numbers mean, or if it was people who were kind of emailing the district saying, well, what do the numbers mean? So in the case that it were people emailing, I feel bad about humanity, and that just adds to my feeling over I don't know how long. And then I'm trying to think what else. And if it's Central who does it, man, did they really get that assumption wrong? I think I said that wrong, but I don't know. I know how to say it. It's just I won't say it right. If it, like Yahoo. Let's say Yahoo. So it's weird. So of course they say the number of positive cases of COVID-19 that have been reported to the school district and confirmed by the Department of Health by 12 p.m. the day the COVID tracker is updated and released. That actually wasn't done right. Whoever wrote that needs to go back to... It actually needs to go and learn something from the teachers, because that I kind of read that and I was like, wait, the number of positive cases that have been reported to the school and confirmed by 12 p.m. the day. So it just doesn't tell you what the numbers are. It just says the number of positive... Like, it sounds like they're going to talk about it more, but they just kind of leave you hanging. Like, wow, thanks for letting us know that. The tracker also includes the number of cases year to date. Don't know what that means. I thought they would say that. And then the confirmed positive cases by building are within a 14-day rolling period. Saying, like, okay, let's say there was a positive case on January 1st and the school's open, which would not happen, but hypotheticals, people, hypotheticals. January 1st, we get a positive case. January 15th, 14 days later, that case would disappear, no matter if they have COVID still or not. That's what makes me think, why... Then what does your COVID tracker do? Your COVID tracker is supposed to track how many people have COVID in your district. Not how is this impacting our school, and then after so many days, we don't have to count it anymore. Now, of course, that's a Department of Health people. They are fully in cooperation with the Department of Health and Department of Education, so they're kind of at... Like, it's just stuff that was ridiculous in my head. The next question was, I know some faculty, God, I can't talk today, and or students who are quarantining, but it's not on the COVID tracker. Why? This did actually happen to me. One of my best friends, he did get COVID. I did talk to him, and he said it wasn't that bad, and he has a stronger immune system, so he was getting better quicker. But he was affected by it. And I was like, why is he not confirmed? I think I even talked about it. Like, yeah, I know there's one at the high school. Like, but I don't know if that was just because he got it or if it was from school. I have absolutely no idea. So, their answer to why is, confirmed positive cases reported in the tracker are those that occur with our faculty, staff, or student population that have an impact on our schools in terms of exposures to others in schools, or the need to quarantine others who may have been exposed at school. If a staff member or student is exposed to COVID-19 out of the school and is quarantining as a result, the case is not reported through our tracker because it does not have an impact on our school. In addition, individuals who are quarantined due to travel are not listed in the COVID tracker. Now, I both agree with this and disagree. I'm kind of in the middle about it, which is good for this. I get that because, like, people who... The law is now, you go out of state. If you come back in, you got to quarantine for 2 weeks. You can't, you got to do it. That's now, have people gone to Maryland and come right back when they're not going... my dad works down in Maryland. That's an exemption. My grandmother goes down to Maryland for healthcare. Totally fine. But if you're just going down there for, let's say, Popeyes, don't ask me. I have not actually gone to Popeyes. I've never had Popeyes before, but it's a story for maybe a time that comes later after this whole thing is done. So, I totally get that. They said if they get it outside of school, I'd be a little bit more concerned, like, okay, but if this teacher comes in with the virus and then affects like X, Y, and Z, like 1, 2, and 3 classes, you're just not going to put it on your tracker. Like, how is that going to work? Now, of course, they do run things a very specific way, so maybe that wouldn't happen, but, you know, you always got to have hypotheticals. There are a million of hypotheticals, but there are the most common ones you have to prepare for. So in that case, I kind of agree with them. But so far, they word it really weirdly, so they try to trick your brain from what I'm hearing. Like, from what I'm reading, they're trying to say something, but they're not saying it. So, it was just interesting to me that they're like, oh, we're not going to say it outright. Alright, so the next, there are only like 2 more questions? Yeah, there were only 4 questions, which is really weird, but they talk about them in extreme detail. Well, the last one is. Question number 3. Why does the tracker show 0 cases in quarantine? Now, of course, this was back when we came out of a holiday break. So we had all zeros, which is super weird. And they're like, oh, we have 1 new case at the high school. We have 1 new case in middle school. Or like stuff like that. And I'm like, you don't want to put that on your tracker? Just things that I kind of think about. But that kind of relates back to, like, why didn't you put it on there? Because we weren't in school. It didn't impact anybody. I don't know about that. I can take either side. Third question. You know, why do they show all zeros? Because this was after break. You know, we had all zeros. When a building or school is closed for 3 or more days, the Department of Health guidelines state that the active positive case count resets to 0 for their tracking purposes. Because our buildings were closed for the holiday break, the number of positives were set to 0. That's not how the world works, Central. That's not how this pandemic works, Central. This isn't how everything is going to be dealt with, the Department of Health. This was kind of where I got caught, and I'm like, really? Really? So the people from Penn State are going to be dumb now. Which I trust me, I go to the Penn State health system. It is hit or miss for some of the places. Of course, I do go for a certain medical condition. If you know me, you know. But I also went there for eye care. Basically, a complication from that medical condition could affect my eyes. They wanted to make sure that nothing was happening there. I was suggested bifocals. I went to an optometrist, like the other side of it, just not like at a prestige place. Said I didn't, not too long ago. So it's just something that you're like, huh, weird. But that just seems weird. Like, I don't understand if a school's closed for 14 days, you're going to clear it. Totally get that. But if it's closed for 3 or more days, you still have people quarantining who are affected. That shouldn't determine your count. Because let's say you close the high school right now for 3 days. Because you had 5 students who just came up positive one day, a single day. January 5th, they came up positive. Okay? Let's just say that. And then they have to close the school for 3 days. Because that's the Department of Health and Education guidelines. You have to close, which they actually haven't been adhering to. So, nice to see that our district is actually reading along the lines of the rules. Nice to see that we have smart people representing our public. Now, of course, you could debate that with me, but you can see them as smart, you can see them as dumb, whatever whatever you think. So I don't know. That I kind of be like, that should not determine your thing. But anyway, January 5th, 5 new cases, closed for 3 days. It's going to reset to 0. When they're saying, oh no, it also resets to 0 after 14 days. That's a little ridiculous. Take the 14 days. Come on, it's not that bad. If something happens with your school, they're trying to do this so that they can avoid closing down. That's what everyone's kind of wanting right now. Yes, I do agree with that, but if we want to truly be safe and truly know what's going on, that's what we're gonna have. That's what would have the steps that need to be taken. And of course, the tracker is saying 0. You don't know. Last day before holiday break, they didn't put up a COVID tracker. January 12th, Tuesday, they did not put up a COVID tracker. How do I know? I looked. And they're like, oh, it's up by 12 p.m. every day. Bull crap. This one today was uploaded after 2:46, the end of the high school and middle school days. I dare you, Central. Take me on. Start submitting them at 12. I'll make sure that they're up by 12 every day. But yeah, they're not very accurate with that. And sometimes they don't actually put one out. Like, okay, so we're just going to hide the fact that you don't want to close your school down again? Which now the middle school has 5 cases. Closing the school down for 1 day. We come back on Monday, they're probably going to hit 0 cases. Okay, so I'm going to scroll up. I'm probably going to get a little glitchy since it's kind of pulling it up. So, high school just hit 5 cases January 14th yesterday, whatever you want to say. Along the guidelines says you need to close your school for at least a week. They're closing their school for a day, plus the weekend is 3 days. Of course, what they just said is, with a 3-day closing period, they have to they can reset to 0. You have 100 kids in quarantine. I just look at that now. You have 100 kids in quarantine. You're going to have that reset to 0 and have part of your school missing. Part of one school missing. And you're going to say, oh, we don't have any kids quarantining. Oh, that 100's just nothing. Basically like, oh, total confirmed cases? 111. Just blow it off, guys. You can keep having them. Now, of course, I did predict in some of the last videos, we will hit 200 by the end of the school year. We might hit 200 in 2 months by the way of how we're gaining cases and how our district is dealing with it. It's kind of ridiculous in my mind, but you can test that. Of course, the high school is getting close to hitting the mark where they do need to close down, so maybe we won't go to school tomorrow. Maybe. But of course, you can see like how they were saying about the vacancy. Anyway, back to the last question. Trust me, I'd like this to be over as much as probably you would. Last question we have is, why don't we hear about confirmed cases right away? Now, of course, I did read this before, and I'm going to sum it up for you. The school has to take multiple steps to do this. First, they have to make sure that it comes from the parent, from the public, saying like, oh, my kid has a case. They have to submit it to the Department of Health for an actual approval, and then they have to put it on their COVID tracker. These take time. They don't like right away. So let's say you have 10 kids who like, oh, I've got COVID, but then you only have like, it's not a confirmed case until it's confirmed. So they're just like cases, unconfirmed cases, 10 unconfirmed. Okay, only 2 come up confirmed. They're not going to come out and say today, oh, we had 10 people who have a case of the virus. No, they're going to come out and say about a day or 2 later, we have 2 kids who have a confirmed case, which I think is totally acceptable. And people with all this, you have to be very patient with the school district. It takes them a lot of time. They did a very dumb thing by signing the essential form, in my opinion. Maybe you thought it was good. Maybe you thought it was bad. I don't know. I didn't like that they did that, but it is what it is at this point. So, I don't know how you feel about that. However you feel, put it down in the comments. If you kind of want to have a conversation with us, we always do respond to those. We do have a lot of scam ones, though, so I've been making sure to take those off, so then it's not creepy when you go and try to put a comment down there. So if you have some thoughts about this, put them down below. If you have any questions, we are definitely here to help. If you didn't understand any of this and you do need a question answered, trust me, down there I will get a message every time I open up YouTube that somebody has put a comment on a video, of course I will respond to it. I will always respond to it, no matter what. So, yeah. So tell me your thoughts down in the comments. At this point, we're kind of at the end, so just a couple housekeeping things, whatever the heck you want to call it, because I don't know, people call it different things. I've been saying that recently. I gotta stop saying that. So, of course, some things at the end of here. Gypsy team, I am still looking for people who would like to join the Gypsy team. Of course, if you're interested, please text me, DM us, fill out that form on our page. I didn't look at it recently, so I'll have to go on and look at it. Of course, you can find that under the team section. We have a little blurb there about, like, okay, this is what the team is, and then we'll have that form. You don't have to read it. You can just go down and fill out the form. That's it. It's quick. Trust me. It's really quick. We are thinking about doing some questionnaires, some whatever, or we're thinking about doing some like live kind of seminar kind of thing about the Gypsy team. Of course, we can do that with our show too. And so, if people have enough interest in that, please let me know if you are interested in that happening, because then I will make sure that happens. Of course, we do not have an advertisement, which I will talk about in a little bit. So, of course, we'll go to the end screen now. I'll try to talk really fast because, of course, that's what we have to do. So, of course, we will have a new advertisement coming the Monday we come back. It'll be very special. It actually is something that I did because I can't really find anybody who, I can't see anything. So, be ready for Monday. In the meantime, have a great day. Have a great whatever. And we'll see you next time.